So here we are, the star of the show, not you guys, this thing right here, the Calder Cup. And you can see in the graphic behind, that's the team that won it, the celebration, the roar. Let's start, fellas, with the past part of this. And it's just been a blur, I would think, Zach, from the moment you guys have won this up until now as you're about to launch the new season.
Yeah, it was a quick summer, and all for good reasons for the Bears winning the Cup. You play till June 21st, and really back here in Central PA into the hours of June 22nd with it going to Game 7 of overtime. So a lot of celebrations. The Cup was all over North America with the players, and then now back here in Chocolate Town ahead of, obviously, the banner unveiling, the ring ceremony, all the excitement up to it. So it's been a whirlwind. You say goodbye to some players, some new faces come in, but that all makes it pretty special. Of the group that won it is going to forever walk together as champions.
Well, and Garrett Mitchell, former Bears captain. And look, I don't want the details of the stories you've heard. I'm sure you've heard a lot of the great stories, but look, you put a lot of time on the ice. You know what it's like to try and pursue something like this. Once a Bear, always a Bear. So the pride that you feel when you see that this is number 12 for the organization.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a long time trying to get to 12. We weren't able to do it in my tenure here. So even for myself, coming back and watching the playoff run, living here, right, and following along and being part of it. I don't want to say I was a part of it, but I felt like, deep down somewhere there's a little bit that, it's just a pride thing. Once you play for the organization, it's kind of always there.
I want to stick with that because you said watching the playoff run. I mean, it was incredible. Zach and I kind of lived that whole thing out in Coachella Valley. What were the emotions like? We were the last game in town. Yeah. Stanley Cup playoffs had already ended as they were out in Coachella Valley. So talk about what you went through as you were watching whatever series, and when did you catch on, and how did you experience it, I guess the question.
For sure. You know what, the biggest thing for me is I was trying to pursue the same cup, and so for me moving back, we got knocked out, we played Texas, and so me coming back, my wife's like, do you want to go? And I was like, you know what, I do. And so I was able to catch a few different games. I caught the 3 final games in Hershey. You know what, like I said, it's such a special thing. There's not that many guys that get to have their name put on that cup. And, to watch a bunch of my, close friends do that and raise that cup, that's a pretty special thing. Look,
you mentioned a special thing, and I've had the privilege of being in the booth with this guy, the voice of the Hershey Bears, and it's a special thing to call those games. You're jumping into as a game analyst. You're done playing hockey. You're gonna, it's a broadcast team. We're taking this thing next level, right? We're gonna get 3 announcers on most of the games that we're releasing, and we got more games, more regular season, more stuff down the road that we can announce later as well. But so, Zach, I want to start with you with that part of it. You know Garrett very well. So I think the way that you're going to work and the analysis and what he brings to the table when he starts to work the games with you.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun with both of you guys, really. I mean, we've had a blast these last 3 years, and to get to win it and have you down on the ice doing the interviews was so fun. I mean, if this cup could talk, it could tell a lot of stories just from our team, and we got to witness a lot of them firsthand. And you know what? I'm excited to work with Garrett. We had a great relationship when he was a player here. He's been an awesome advocate for our community. This is home for him, his family, and his 2 little girls. To get involved with us again, and a guy that just finished playing up, is very cool. It's something that Fox had come to us about, and it made all the sense in the world. So excited to get to work with him to bring his analysis of somebody that was just blocking that shot, a couple of months ago, to really provide that, and then to continue working with you in a new role and really continue to grow what we built over a special partnership these last 3 years. You guys got some hardware because of it, honored by the American Hockey League, which was very well deserved.
Oh, stop it. We're blushing. No, to get the Ellery Award was really fantastic, and just a culmination of all the group effort. Andrew Callista, such a big part of it, all our directors, all the staff. We just had an amazing year, and it all kind of fell into place. And Andrew, of course, is going to be a big part of what we're doing still as we kind of expand on all platforms, right? As we continue to give you great Bears coverage from Fox 43 and do all those types of things. Lindsey Barna, Evan Brooks, Alex Cawley, the entire sports staff, those types of things. Garrett, in the booth, embracing that new role with Zach. I mean, this guy is the best that they have to offer. So what are you looking forward to when it comes to that? And I know you've done some radio games, and when you see that viewpoint as a captain, you can go into the locker room. There's so many things that go involved in a full season that you got to have your finger on the pulse of the team. So the perspective that you're going to bring to the booth, what can the Hershey fans expect when it comes to that?
Yeah, I'm really excited to do it. I think for myself, it just stepping out of the game, it keeps me involved in the game. I think I do have some different perspectives of maybe what guys are thinking, whether it's traveling in, getting in at 3 o'clock in the morning, and, a lot of things that fans might not necessarily understand that, hey, why do they look flat out there tonight? Well, we didn't get in till 4 o'clock in the morning, and, we switched hotels, and, there's so many things that go into, playing the game than just getting out there and playing. So I think a little bit of that and just being able to kind of understand the mindset of guys and how they think, and I'm excited for that.
Well, the mindset and how these guys think, I mean, I just stay out of the way. Like when I let Zach do his thing, and then when it's time to step in and add a little bit of analysis, it's great. So I know you guys are going to have a blast with it. We're going to take you all the way through the regular season, the playoffs, the whole deal. I know I joke you have the call all teed up, sweeter by the baker's dozen, but I'm sure you'll come up with something a lot more clever than that as we all pursue number 13. So any final thoughts and words? Look, that championship banner is about to drop on Saturday night as we get rolling again for a new season.
It's going to be an emotional day, I think, for everyone that was involved in it, but you do have to turn the page, right? And that's going to be a challenge for everybody. It's 2 games on the weekend to get it going, but I really do think the Bears, there's a core that's back. Mike Vecchione, who scored the Game 7 goal. Hunter Shepard, your MVP, your captains are all there. Dylan McElrath, who lifted this bad boy when it all started. I mean, that's awesome, but there are a few faces that departed. They've replaced them, though, with some really good firepower, guys that have good experience elsewhere, young players that should be impact players for the team. So on paper, you can say, maybe this team's even better, but it's all got to align on the ice. So it's a challenge to do it. It's no easy task to go back-to-back, but I hope we're doing the same interview in the same studio, chatting about it again this time next year with the same trophy. But it's a long journey, but I think this team now with the core knows what it takes to win, and they're ready to embrace that.
And Garrett, just final words from you from the standpoint of, look, you know the roster a little bit. You know some of the guys. You're going to get to know the guys more intimately and understand that part of it. But, getting a season started, that championship banner is going to hang. So what kind of emotions will run through you as a fresh season starts? I know you feel a lot better, right? You feel a lot fresher without having to go through training camp and stuff, but where are you at with the start of a season?
Yeah, there's so many emotions. Whether you're raising a banner or not, you're chasing a new one. And every season, that you come into a season, whether you're going through summer training or you're bag skating yourself on a Monday morning in the summertime, there's so many emotions that go into that to chase the cup that's right in front of us. And for the guys to raise that cup last year, have it sitting in front of them coming into a game, be presented with their rings, watch the banner go up. There's so many things that go into that, and I've said it's special, but it is special. There's not many guys that are able to do that, and like Zack said, there's tons of guys that are back, and that core group of guys are all back. So it's a pretty exciting time in Chocolatetown.
Can't wait to get that pursuit going, and keep your eyes open for when there's availability, right? To see this thing, to be around this thing. You got it for a little while, like to the end of the calendar year. So for Hershey Bears fans, pay attention. You get a chance to have this thing right in front of you, or take a picture or whatever. There'll be opportunities to do so, I assume, correct?
Yeah, we'll have it at the game, obviously, for opening night for fans. We had our season ticket holder night the other day. I'm sure there'll be some great community events we got with our partners, folks like yourself that we get to see, that we work with in partnership. But also, as we get out in the community, our Hershey Bears Cares program is big. Garrett did that as a player. We love being part of the community. So the Cup, we have it until about the turn of the year, and then it has to go back to the American Hockey League once the calendar hits 2024. So we're going to have some fun with it and obviously share the excitement with a lot of great folks here in Central Pennsylvania.
Well, if things go the way we'd like them to go, you'll have it back about 6 months after that.
Sounds
so
like a plan.
We'll see how that goes. But Garrett Mitchell, Zack Fisch, Todd Sadowski, we're ready to launch the season. Championship banner on Saturday night. Fox 43 and the Hershey Bears just keep expanding this television partnership. We're ready to launch.